Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. The Splendid Galaxy is a full 360,000 light-years away from the Milky Way. 360,000 light-years. Theoretically, it takes light 360,000 years to travel. How fast is light? They have to travel 360,000 light-years, it is conceivable. How far is the distance? Cruisers are equipped with space jump engines. This distance is actually no problem for cruisers. The space jump engine performs a space jump, starting from a distance of 10,000 light-years. However, the brilliant can't do it. In other words, those below cruisers are not good, they are all equipped with pulse jump engines. For that thing, you have to jump 360,000 times to 1 light-year at a time. Let alone whether you can jump that many times, even if you can hold on, the fuel is far from enough. So, this time the two are going to a beautiful federal military star system about 960 light-years away from the solar system. There is a wormhole jump gate controlled by the Federal Army. That star gate is also a star gate that directly leads to the Splendid Galaxy. Star gates are different from the teleportation arrays in fantasy, immortality, and magic. It cannot be said that wherever it is sent, it will be sent there. The wormhole transition stargate is mainly composed of wormholes in 2 regions of the universe. A wormhole transition star 760 gate, only 1 transition channel. Like the Milky Way, there are many such wormhole transition stargates, which are controlled by different federal military star systems. These stargates lead to different large galaxies. The Splendid Federation military star system is 960 light-years away, and it would take a full 32 days just to catch up to the time spent, even if the pulse transition is performed non-stop, calculated at 30 light-years a day. Besides, it is definitely not possible to rush on the road like this. The starship can survive, the fuel can survive, and people can't survive. According to what Haitang said, jump a certain distance every day, and go to a nearby star system halfway, or take a rest at a space relay station. Then refuel the starship. It will take about 58 days to arrive. Fortunately, after passing through the Star Gate and arriving at the Splendid Galaxy, the Star Gate leading to the Milky Way, controlled by the Galaxy Federation military star system, is relatively close to the Shenzhou star system. 330 light-years, and it can be reached in a month at most. That is to say, this journey, just on the road, will consume a full 3 months. Perhaps this is also a shortcoming of the interstellar age of the universe. The universe is just too big and vast. The 3-month voyage seems to have been a long time, and it has traveled a long way. Actually, not taking the universe into consideration, this distance is just a drop in the ocean for the area controlled by the Earth Federation alone. Zian, I have already sent the route to your optical brain, jump according to this direction. Haitang said in the communicator, by the way, what is your transition speed? Zian glanced at the virtual projection of the star map given by the optical computer in the cockpit, and replied, my current jump limit is 1.8 light-years, the time is 33 minutes, and it takes 8 minutes to recharge. TSK, I can only say that it is worthy of the red excellence. Haitang sighed, okay, I understand. I will adjust the jump distance to be the same as yours. Zian nodded, good. Say no more. 2 starships, 1 large and 1 small, started their pulse jump engines one after another and entered the jump mode. Haitang will keep the same route and distance with Zian throughout the journey. Her mission is to protect Zian from arriving safely. The star crystal optical brain of the brilliant star began to broadcast. Preparing for a pulse transition, the distance of this transition is 1.2 light-years. The countdown to the leap. 10, 9, 1, the jump starts. The familiar space is distorted and colorful. Due to the gaze, I can no longer see a specific scene clearly, and everything is distorted. This 1.8 light-year jump takes a total of 33 minutes. Taking advantage of this time, Zian straightened his waist. Get up and go back to the captain's living room to practice. Biology can cultivate. There are no such things as gongfa and mental methods. The cultivation of bioenergetics is to absorb energy, try to take exercise as much as possible when consuming energy, and take this energy as one's own. Practicing at the same time is actually exercising. Exercise your limits. Stimulate the potential of the human body, stimulate the growth and increase of biological energy in the human body. This is the way of bioenergy cultivation. There is no such thing as mysterious devouring the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Energy intake is to eat, and the best and highest quality energy is undoubtedly those treasures that contain a lot of biological energy. Zian does not have time Katibo, but he has wealth. He found out, a large amount of wealth is directly converted into biological energy. The reason why my body can't bear it is actually because my body is too weak. But as long as you practice hard, the amount of biological energy you convert every day can be increased. And there will be no feeling that the body is bursting. With a thought. 5 points of wealth, instantly converted into 5 points of bioenergy. A huge biological energy suddenly appeared and surged in the body. Zian hurriedly put the 300 kilogram barbell on the ground on his shoulders and started squatting. 300 kilograms. It's nothing to Zian. After all, in the 21st century, the record of the best weightlifting champion is to lift 220 kilograms. And Zian is a 5th level fighter. 300 kilograms is not easy, but it will not be too difficult. Squat again and again. Soon it was profusely sweating. But after the body started strenuous exercise, the huge biological energy that was originally shocking, the body was uncomfortable. It is also gradually absorbed by the body quickly and gradually calms down. Inside the TOZ-0108 space relay station. Stopping and stopping, Zian and Hai Tang, who have jumped for more than half a month, are dining in a foreign restaurant in the space relay station. The so-called foreign restaurant is just as the name suggests. It's unorthodox people. The universe is vast. Hundreds of millions of races. The 3 peak overlord groups in the universe are only the 3 most powerful groups among the billions of groups in the universe, and it does not mean that there are only 3 groups in the entire universe. Such is the cosmic human race. There are countless unorthodox human ethnic groups under his command. These unorthodox human races are only slightly different in appearance from the human race. For example, the fox people, cat people, rabbit people. The difference between them and the orthodox human race lies in their ears, tails, height, etc. You can even get married and have children. In the universe, there are indeed many examples of human races marrying these ethnic groups. There are countless. The restaurant they are in now is a specialty gourmet restaurant of the Zoroya ethnic group. The Zoroa race is a race that is relatively close to the human race in all aspects. It is also very simple to tell the difference between them and humans, just look at their pupils and fingers. There are 2 pupils in each of their eyes, and these 2 pupils can also rotate. The eyeballs cannot move, but the pupils can move, which is amazing. Secondly, each of their hands has 7 fingers. And the fingers are a bit longer than those of humans. Except for the 2-jointed thumb of the human race, the rest of the fingers have 3 joints. But the Zoroa people have 3-jointed thumbs and 4-jointed fingers. In fact, it's pretty much the same. Anyway, everything else is the same. Even the physical structure of men and women is like this. Speaking of the structure of men and women, the body structures of men and women are generally different from those of human beings. The human race classifies them as non-human races. Not even unorthodox humans. Such as the inhumans and the insects. Zergs lay a lot of eggs, but humans don't have this kind. The inhumans are even more outrageous. They do not distinguish between men and women, nor are they male or female. Reproduction relies solely on fission. Well, just like cells. Zoroya people are famous for their specialties. Try it. Haiteng signaled Su Zian to order. At the dining table next to them, several Zoroians wearing space armor and looking like starship captains were eating. After hearing the conversation between the two, one of them immediately enthusiastically introduced Su Zian, human race. You must have never tasted our Zenroa delicacies, right? I suggest you really try it, you won't be disappointed. I highly recommend our signature dish of Zenroa, frosted mushroom. It must be delicious. Su Zian laughed, nodded and said, okay, then I'll have a serving of frosty meat mushrooms. Of course he knew the Zenroa people. I have learned this before when I was studying the history and development of billions of people in the universe. It is one of the unorthodox human groups affiliated with the cosmic human race. The fighting power is not bad. At the same time, there are many biological captains of the Zoroian people in the universe, and the group is also very large. They belong to one of the medium-sized groups of the 3.2 subordinate people. This is also the first time that Su Zian has truly seen ethnic groups other than the human race in reality. Knew it. This person needs to come out more. Just come out and walk around. Only then did I realize how big the world is. The vastness of the universe. While waiting for the food to be served, Su Zian finally couldn't help it anymore, raised his head and asked helplessly, I said, how long are you going to stare at me? Isn't it just that the cultivation is faster and the biological ability is improved faster? You are also one of the top 10 geniuses of the Earth Federation. Are you no less talented than me? Hearing Su Zian's words, Haiteng held her smooth forehead with her slender fingers and was speechless for a while. For a while. I can't tell whether Su Zian is Versailles or not. How long is this? Before Su Zian's college entrance examination, he only broke through the 5th rank. It's almost 10 days since the college entrance examination. It looks like half a month of sailing now. Just a month and a few days at most. You tell me that your biological energy is already full. Are you going to evolve the brilliant to the 6th level? And now you tell me, is this just because the cultivation is a little faster and the biological ability is improved a little faster? Do we have different opinions on the word dian, which means too fast? Just this morning, cosmic time, when they were still jumping and sailing, Su Zian suddenly said that his creatures were at full value, and he wanted to see if he could find a place for the brilliant number to evolve. Everyone in Haiteng who heard this was dumbfounded. A month ago, I just reached level 5. In 1 month, it will be level 6? Su Zian's brilliant account is about to evolve. Of course she wouldn't stop it. Strength naturally increases faster and faster. Looking at Su Zian's natural look, Haiteng knew what was going on and didn't ask any more questions or look for discomfort. The food was served quickly. To be honest, the food of the Zenroa people is famous in the universe, and there is a reason for it. In terms of taste, there's really nothing to say. And that frosty meat mushroom is a specialty ingredient of the Zenroa people. A meaty mushroom that tastes cool and refreshing. It's the kind of meat that's real meat. Coupled with the craftsmanship of the Zenroa people, the taste is truly amazing. Do you still have enough money? If not, I can lend you some. While eating, Haiteng suddenly asked, I see you invested a lot of money in this ship, the Brilliance. The quality is so high. If you want to evolve once and keep the quality, it should cost a lot of money, right? Su Zian took a sip of the glass passion wine and felt the hundreds of floral aromas and dozens of different flavors that the wine burst out in his mouth. Then he smiled and replied, no need. I already had a lot of money left, so I gave Qin Fuyue the Huiyue number to evolve. Her parents gave Zero to me a remuneration of 2 million. Together, it's more than 3 million, which is enough. Speaking of Qin Fuyue's parents, Haiteng couldn't help but want to laugh. The day before departure, she received a message from Fuyue's mother asking about Su Zian and Qin Fuyue's. Her mother was very regretful after learning that she had only seen that Qin Fuyue liked Su Zian, but not that Su Zian must like Qin Fuyue. Keep your words inside and out, and keep yourself busy to make things right. However, Haiteng said yes, but did not take any action. She did not intend to get involved in the relationship issues between Su Zian and Qin Fuyue. Faintly, I felt a little unhappy. She couldn't catch what specifically made her unhappy. Anyway, I am quite unwilling to take the initiative to match them. This time it evolved. Not only did he spend the more than 3 million yuan left in Su Zian's hand, he only had the last 300,000. Even the evolution value is almost exhausted. Of course, the exhaustion mentioned here is when the last evolution value that is enough to save one's life is retained, exactly 100 evolution points. Su Zian will never use 100 evolution points except in times of crisis. But what was left after killing the human traders, as well as the 80 points of biological energy that he had when he reached the full level of a 5th grade warrior, were all used up. The full state of a 5th grade warrior is 360 bioenergy. Now, Zian is already at the 6th level. The full value of the 6th grade is 450. It is necessary to cultivate a full 90 biological energy to reach the full state of breaking through the 7th level, the reason why the evolution value is consumed so quickly. It's also because the quality of the Kukanho is so high. High quality has its benefits. Strong fighting ability and strong survivability. But the biggest drawback, that is, when the quality is high, it evolves to the next level while ensuring quality translation, that is, the quality does not decline or improve. It also consumes much more evolution points than the evolution of low-quality starships. To use a simpler metaphor, it is for example, it takes about 50 evolution points to upgrade a white ordinary quality starship from 5 to 6. Then, Su Zian's brilliant number needs to spend at least 300 evolution points to upgrade from 5 to 6. Even more. In fact, this is one of the main reasons why high-quality starships are extremely rare in the current universe. Evolutionary value is extremely scarce. Unless Su Zian does not translate the red excellent quality, only evolution is guaranteed but not quality. Then the required evolution value will be much less. But, just think about it, you can't do something stupid like that. Anyway. Let Su Zian rise from 6 to 7 now. He can't be promoted no matter what. No evolution value. The brilliant number has evolved to the 6th level, and its performance in all aspects has been further enhanced. As for the perfect quality of pink, apart from N, no one wants to pursue that quality now. First, it was too difficult and he was not 100% sure. Second, there is still no evolution value. Su Zian even made plans. Not surprisingly, the reconnaissance ship level has red excellent quality. Corvette, perfect in pink. At that time, I believe that I should have learned almost enough. It is also a good time to take advantage of this period to earn evolutionary points. The journey afterwards. Su Zian saw the true vastness and beauty of the universe. Even if this is only the tip of the iceberg of the universe, not even the tip of the iceberg. But Su Zian was already dazzled. There is a super huge city where the entire star system has been transformed into one city, and that includes the use of space. There is a floating city with a gaseous planet, and it is said that Shenzhou Academy is a floating school. There are cities made entirely of ice. There are also underground cities that hollow out the interior of a planet. However, most of the people living in the inner cities of the planet are not orthodox humans. Few orthodox humans would like to live in a place like an underground city where they can't see the sun. And this way, did not encounter any danger. With the behemoth Begonia's Kraken next to it, those interstellar pirates would have gone as far as they could. On the way, I encountered several calls for help. There were 3 times because the distance was too far, and it was too late to go. Even if they went there, the people were gone, and those pirates had already jumped. Another time it was not far away, and I went and went. But by the time they passed, the pirates had already run away, but fortunately they were rescued. None of the evolution points were obtained. It was escorted by Kraken all the way. Safety is safety. Don't even think about the evolution value. Finally, 2 months later, arrived in the star system of the splendid Federation Legion. The Legion was named for its destination on the other side of the gate. The advantage is that you can be more clear about where you are going, and you will not go the wrong way. Splendid Federation Legion star system, there are heavy troops stationed here. The Stargate has always been the core area of the cosmic Haka. If it is attacked by bad guys, it will jump to the other side through this Stargate. Great threat. Just approaching this star system, it is already within the monitoring range. Look from a distance. This star system is not big, only a red dwarf star faintly exudes red light. Next to it, it is a gigantic gate to the starry sky. This is a wormhole. Some wormholes appeared naturally, and some were created by humans later. Then use technology to fix and stabilize the wormhole. Regular maintenance will keep it going for a long time. The Stargate is also the key and core for the Universe Human Federation to control the entire human region. Wherever there is an enemy attack, the army can be sent through the Stargate immediately to suppress it. Except Stargate. Then there are military bases. Some military bases are built in space. Military bases built in space are mainly checkpoints, and only after passing the checkpoints can you enter and use the Stargate. The ground is basically the living area and training area of the soldiers. The families of the soldiers and so on also live on the planet. But what attracted Zian's attention the most was the super cannons. Have you ever seen a gun barrel with a caliber of 338 meters? And it's still small. It is said that the most powerful cannon of the human race in the universe can kill half of a large galaxy like the Milky Way in one shot. I don't know if it's true. Regardless of whether it is true or not, these 338-meter caliber cannons that can be seen everywhere in front of you, let alone being hit by the front. Just touching it once, he would be smashed into powder. Nima, the caliber of this gun is several times larger than his starship, hit it with a hammer. Identity check, the two naturally have no problems. Passed several levels with ease. In the end, Haitang paid a total of 27 million yuan for the jump, and the two got the tickets for the Stargate space jump. Yes. Don't you think this kind of wormhole is free to use? Do not make jokes. Natural very few. Because the natural ones that happen to connect this galaxy to that galaxy are pitifully rare. Basically, they are all artificial. The creation of wormholes can be said to be the highest technological pinnacle of human beings in the universe. Its cost is an unimaginable horror figure. How is it possible for you to use it for free? The cost of the Earth Federation is still cheap. Especially the citizens of the Earth Federation almost only charge you a cost price. So, can you understand why Zian said that it may be difficult to return to the solar system for a long time in the future? The time spent on the road is trivial. Shipping costs are really expensive. 27 million, only 1 million is the cost of the brilliant jump. Haitang's Kraken number is too big, so she jumps 26 million times. It's outrageous. Needless to say, the biological captain is making money. But spend money. It is also fiercer than the other. Soon. Then it was our turn to line up. Stargate jumping is simple. Just fly directly to the opposite side. Of course, if you insist on flying to the side, you can fly to the side, because the space is turbulent. Maybe I'll jump over to the Zerg for you. Driving the brilliance. Follow Haitang's Kraken. Slowly insert, enter. Pooh. Sail into the Stargate. Soon. Disappeared into the Milky Way. Milky Way Galaxy, farewell. Splendid Galaxy, here I come. Shenzhou Academy, here I come. The Milky Way Galaxy and the Splendid Galaxy are separated by a full 21.9 million light-years. That's right, it's 10,000 light-years. Even a space jump at the Stargate level. It took a full 29 hours to reach the exit. As soon as he came out, he was scanned by the scanner here. After confirming that the identity information is correct, access will be granted. The star system here is called the Galactic Federation Legion star system. The star here is a brown dwarf. The entire star system looked dim. In other respects, it's pretty much the same. Okay, now that we're here, we're close to the Shenzhou star system. There's only one star system left. Haitong's voice came. Su Zian sighed. Interstellar voyage sounds like everyone's dream. However, the dullness and boredom of sailing are not something that ordinary people can endure. Have nothing to say. Keep going. This time, the two of them didn't delay any longer on the road. On the 27th day, a binary star system appeared in the field of vision. The Shenzhou star system is a binary star system composed of a red dwarf star and a yellow dwarf star. Yellow dwarfs are farther away and red dwarfs are closer. Red dwarfs have lower temperatures, but with the addition of distant yellow dwarfs, the temperature of the entire star system is quite suitable for human survival even without a stellar control system. Not to mention the star control system controlling it. The main body of the stellar control system is a transparent metal. This transparent metal has super high temperature resistance, so it does not affect the diffusion of light. In other words, the light does not change. What changes is the temperature and the stability of the star. Arrive. Haitong's voice in the communicator also sounded relieved. 3 months of interstellar travel without revealing the body. If the body is tired, you can rest on the starship, but if you are tired, it is the spirit. Only people like Su Zian, who was traveling far away from a large galaxy for the first time, were in high spirits and did not feel tired at all. The entire Shenzhou star system belongs to the territory of our Shenzhou Academy. The Kraken was flying ahead to lead the way, and Haitang introduced to Su Zian. However, our Shenzhou Academy only occupies 10 of the planets. The other 11 planets are all inhabited by ordinary cities and ordinary people. The Federation divided the Chinese star system into our Chinese university. In fact, the main purpose is to let our school take on the obligation of protecting ordinary people in this star system. So, in the Shenzhou star system, there is no federal army garrison, and there are interstellar pirates, all of which are defended by our school. In addition, our Shenzhou star system is extremely prosperous, and there is an endless stream of spaceship fleets. 17. This has led to the endless emergence of interstellar pirates. Because this is the cradle of geniuses, traitors from the human race also appear from time to time. It can be said that our Shenzhou Academy has endless tasks, endless enemies, points, and evolution points. As long as you are willing to work hard, you can have as many as you want. Haitong's words made Su Zian's heart surge. What does he lack most now? He currently lacks the most evolution value. As early as half a month ago, he had already reached the point where the 6th rank warrior had a full value of 450 points of bioenergy. It's just that due to the lack of evolutionary value, in the past half month, I can only stare blankly. This is just the outer courtyard. If it is the inner courtyard, directly on the border, how much evolution value would it have? Of course, going to the border is something I can only think about. He is simply not qualified now. And Haitang was still introducing. The Outer College of Shenzhou University has a total of 5 departments: Star Wars series, Command System, Evolution Department, Research Department, Cultural Department. You applied for the Evolution Department, and your department is in Tianjin. The other 2 planets, one is the Accommodation Star, which is the planet specially used by teachers and students to live in, and the environment is also the most pleasant. The floating island assigned to you is also on this planet. Of course, you can choose not to live on the floating island. Anyway, the place is very big, you can choose any area as your private dormitory. This is your exclusive privilege. The last one is the Logistics Star, which stores all the family decrees of our Shenzhou Academy. At the same time, this planet is also the most heavily guarded, and it is also the favorite planet for sneak attacks by interstellar pirates and human traitors. An introduction. Su Zian gradually gained a general understanding of Shenzhou University. Can only say, is it worthy of being a university in the interstellar era? What the hell, the territory is directly connected to a star system larger than the solar system. The school directly occupies 7 entire planets. It's just outrageous. It is hard to imagine how big the Shenzhou Academy is. But it is precisely because of this era that the Shenzhou Academy is big. However, the transportation is extremely convenient. In the star system, another hour is up. In Haitang's follow-up explanation. Finally entered the Shenzhou star system. Then he took Su Zian straight to the lodging star. The accommodation star of Shenzhou University is not just about accommodation. The main building, office building, etc. of the school are also here. After all, the environment here is the best. And it's natural. Unlike other planets, it was artificially transformed later, although it is also very good. But it always felt a little less meaningful. The lodging star is not very big, probably a circle smaller than the moon. But the environment is really good, with blue sky and white clouds dotted. Lakes, oceans, forests, mountains, grasslands, deserts, everything. There are no high-rise buildings or steel jungles here. Only occasionally can you see some scattered buildings built in beautiful scenery, because the high-rise buildings and the main building of the school are built on the floating island. The floating islands are the most peculiar sights here. This is a real floating island, not the kind made of steel. Of course, the floating island must have adopted some floating technology, but it is also a real island floating in the air. One by one, it looks quite shocking. The main building of Shenzhou Academy is the largest floating island here. A floating island with a round body, the milky white buildings on it, and the environment of singing birds and flowers, make people feel comfortable when looking at it. There are also thick clouds like cotton candy around, as if they have come to the legendary heaven. The Brilliant followed the Kraken to stop on the landing pad of the main building. There are not many starships on the landing pad. B. The worst is a destroyer. Cruisers are the most common. There are 3 battleships. But what shocked Su Zian the most was, here, there is actually a deep space ship. The deep space ship with a length of more than 4,000 meters is like a crawling giant dragon. Shocking, ferocious, and domineering. This is our vice principal's starship, how about it, domineering? Outside the opened cabin door of the Brilliant, Haitang explained. After a pause, he suddenly said, by the way, this vice principal is also the dean of your evolution department. Usually she never shows up, but she suddenly appeared here today. Haitang looked deeply at Su Zian and said, I'm afraid they came here just for you. Let's go, I'll take you to report at the freshman registration office. Oh, by the way, there is no need to wear a helmet here. The air of the lodging star is the most suitable for human beings, and it is even fresher than that of the earth. Su Zian looked around while listening to Haitang. It was exactly as Haitang said. The air quality here is really comfortable. Moreover, the surroundings are full of exotic flowers and plants that are different from the earth, and Su Zian likes it more and more the more he looks at it. Few people were seen on the floating island of the main building of the academy. At least they went all the way to the main building without seeing a single person. Seemingly aware of Su Zian's doubts, Haitang explained, don't be doubtful. Okay. First of all, it happens to be the 3-month vacation period every year. It will take 5 or 6 days before school officially starts. Currently, among the freshmen, there are only those special recruits, and you are here. Secondly, those old students have either returned to their hometowns, or they have not returned to their hometowns, and they are all performing tasks outside. In 2 days, everyone will come over one after another, and you will see a lot of people, so let's be quieter now. Su Zian nodded suddenly. Soon. Haitang brought Su Zian to a very large office. It says, Registration Office for Freshmen of the Evolutionary Department. The door opens automatically to both sides. Then I saw a fat middle-aged woman sitting inside, 3 middle-aged and elderly people, and a girl who huddled in a ball with her head down and dared not speak. As soon as the door opened, the eyes of several people swept over. Skimming Haitang directly, the eyes of the 4 of them finally fixed on Su Zian. Eyes. Just like a searchlight, especially that fat, middle-aged woman. The figure showed a speed that didn't match the size, and appeared in front of Zian like a teleportation. The expressions of the other three middle-aged and elderly people changed one after another. Also rushed up quickly. That look. Full of urgency. Zhan Wushuang, you don't talk about martial arts. We agreed to compete fairly together, so we know you lied to us. Ah, I'm so mad, you're still a dean, so stop. 3 angry shouts reverberated through the office. The chubby middle-aged woman at the front acted as if she didn't hear it, and came to Zian in a flash, grabbed Zian's hand, and was about to drag him out. Everyone in Zian was dumbfounded. What's the situation? Fortunately, these 3 old men are not easygoing people, and they were vigilant, so they surrounded them before they could be dragged away. Those who blew their beard and stared at him thought it was the scene of revenge for those who didn't know. Anyway, Zian was dumbfounded. Behind her, Haitang shrugged helplessly when she saw the situation. Said to Zian, just stay here by yourself. I don't need to do it later, I'll go back to sleep and throw it away. I've been exhausted these days. After finishing speaking, Shiran left regardless of Zian's eyes, asking for help. After Haitang left, the smell of gunpowder seemed to be stronger. The fat middle-aged woman said with a cold face, get out of the way. These 3 old men didn't hesitate at all, and they didn't move their steps. A bald old man snorted, Zhan Wushuang, let him go, we will let go. Another old man with a red face also snorted, it's 9:20, you are still the dean of our evolution department, you are shameless. The skinny old man at the end was also rude, don't even think about taking him away today. Let's make an agreement, let him choose, what are you doing now? The middle-aged woman's face became even colder, I don't understand what you are talking about. Anyway, I am the dean of the evolution department. Since I am the dean, then he belongs to me. The 3 old men were suddenly furious. Zhan Wushuang. Are you really shameless? What is your situation? You don't know what's going on? You don't even understand the evolution of a small reconnaissance ship's parts, and you still want to teach others? That's right. You don't want to mislead your disciples. Such a genius should be taught by us. You'd better go and get a registered evolutionary teacher first before teaching others. The 3 old men immediately spat and sprayed. Hearing these words, Zian was dumbfounded. This moment, he finally understood something. So this middle-aged woman, is it the dean of the evolution department? That is, the vice principal that Haitang said, let the captain of the deep space ship? Zian's eyes suddenly changed. Only these 3 old men who seemed to be the teachers of the evolution department. What creepy ghost stories, the dean of evolution division. Even the parts of a reconnaissance ship don't understand? And you haven't even passed the exam as a registered evolutionist? That is to say, the dean of the evolution department of Shenzhou Academy is a person who is not even an evolutionist? Zian was stunned. Although he doesn't really care about the teaching of the evolution division. Because he has a system. There is Master Xiao Lao. Under the dual teaching of the system and the master, Zian believes that it is no worse than any school's evolution division. The reason why I still applied for the evolution division, the reason is simple. In fact, it is also a little vanity. The Star Wars department of Shenzhou University is the well-deserved #1 in the Earth Federation. But the evolution division is also well-deserved the last one. Zian thought about joining the evolution division by himself, to see if he could improve his ranking a bit. Maybe you can get some rewards or something. Besides, although I majored in the evolution department, it doesn't mean that I can't study in the Star Wars department. I heard from Haitang that as long as you pay the corresponding points, you can learn any course in any department. But now, he expressed a little panic. The evolution department of Shenzhou University seems a little too unreliable. How can there be such a dean? The middle-aged woman's face turned red and white suddenly. Gritting his teeth, he said, that's the Evolutionary Association's blind eyes. After a pause, I knew that I would definitely not have an advantage in arguing with them in this regard. Immediately, he rolled his eyes, and said again, "Who said that I will be his evolutionist's mentor? I want to be his mentor in Star Wars and personal combat. You can't take care of this, can you? Get out of the way." Obviously, the three old men will not be fooled by her so easily. Seeing the middle-aged woman being so aggressive, they really felt a little angry. The skinny old man said angrily, "Zhan Wushuang. Don't think that we don't know what you're thinking. Don't you just feel that you really don't have the talent of an evolutionist, and you've been ridiculed by your peers all the time, so you want to take the title of tutor Zian to save face for yourself? But how can this kind of thing mislead your children, just because you want to save face?" Zian is definitely the top talent who has been in the evolutionary division for so many years. He was already a first-grade evolutionist certified by the Evolutionists Association 3 months ago. And you haven't passed the evolutionary test, so it's not bad for someone to be your mentor. The old man looked thin, but his voice and temper were not small. The roar made Zhan Wushuang's face turn black. The two old men next to him hurriedly and secretly pulled the thin old man's skirt, motioning him to keep his voice down and stop irritating Zhan Wushuang so much. But the skinny old man was obviously agitated, his neck was snarled, and he said loudly, "What are you afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? I will never allow such a seedling to be destroyed by her Zhan Wushou. Yes, I can't beat her, so what? As teachers, we must not just let Miaozi be ruined like this. It's a big deal to get beaten up again." "What's the big deal? Come on, even if you, Zhan Wushuang, beat me to death today, I won't let you do whatever you want. Fighting in Star Wars, we recognize you, but evolution, you just can't." The thin old man blew his beard and stared. Without giving in, the atmosphere froze instantly. Zian, who was silent the whole time, seemed to be a bit out of order seeing the atmosphere at this moment. Finally, he coughed lightly, and said cautiously, "Then what? Teachers, Dean, would you like to listen to me?" Several people looked at him in unison. Suddenly remembered. They are arguing here, and it seems that they haven't listened to their own opinions. Seeing those eyes that seemed to eat him, Zian smiled helplessly. Spreading his hands, he said, "Several teachers. Sorry, I already have my own body. The reason why I applied for the Department of Evolution is purely because I think this department has few people and is clean. So, in terms of evolution, I don't plan to choose a mentor. Thank you to the teachers for their kindness." Instructor, in this day and age, is actually a modern name for master. It's not the same as those university tutors in the 21st century. It is a true master-student relationship. Zian has been apprenticed to Mr. Xia, since it is impossible to apprentice again. Of course, a teacher is a teacher and a mentor is a mentor. You can ignore the instructor. But Zian will definitely go to the classes of several teachers if he can. This is not a conflict. It's just that if you don't have a mentor, as a teacher, you won't do your best, such as private tutoring after class, or even giving various resources and so on. That's the difference. As soon as Zian said this, the expressions of these people instantly froze on their faces. Then, all of their faces were suddenly filled with anger. Anger at Zian's mentor. In their view, this is not picking their peaches. They want to see it. Who the hell is so brave? How dare you pick the peaches from their Shenzhou Academy? Who? Who is it? Who is your teacher? Humph, don't you know that you have applied for the evolution division of our Shenzhou Academy? You are also accepted as an apprentice. This is poaching our corner. Zian, tell us, when was your mentor? The three old men stared and asked. If it is said that Zian became a teacher, it was in the past. Then they have nothing to say. But if Zian, the mentor, worshipped when his evolutionary talent was well known to everyone, then he would be suspected of poaching the corner of their Shenzhou Academy. Maybe it's not too accurate to say that, but they don't care so much. Their half-dead evolutionist department has finally ushered in such a super top evolutionary evildoer. It is up to him whether he can raise the ranking of the evolution division. Although Zhang Wushuang didn't speak, his eyes were fixed on Su Zian, and he looked like he was gearing up for a violent person. Su Zian replied honestly, I became a teacher a long time ago. At that time, there wasn't even a special recruitment exam. In addition, my master's name is Xiaodong Lu. Do you know the teachers? The angry expressions of several people suddenly froze on their faces. Zhang Wushuang slowly opened his mouth wide, and froze in an instant when he was gearing up, just staring at Su Zian foolishly. Quite a while. The thin old man tremblingly asked, who do you say is your master? Xiaodong Lu is your master? Su Zian nodded. Several people looked at each other in blank dismay. Zhang Wushuang was speechless. Another half-sound passed. Several old men looked strange, but still sighed. With a weird expression on his face, he clasped his fists at Su Zian and bowed, I've seen my little uncle. Zhang Wushuang opened his mouth, finally coughed lightly, opened it slightly, and went to buy it. Su Zian was stunned. He knew that his master was very good. Isn't this a bit too bullshit? The circle of evolutionists is strictly hierarchical, and seniority is extremely important. Don't talk about age, just talk about seniority. Looking at Su Zian's bewildered expression, the bald old man stroked his bald head, smiled wryly and said, young master uncle doesn't know something. Xiaodong Lu Xiaolao is the pride of our entire Earth Federation. Let's put it this way, as long as they are the evolutionists of our Earth Federation, the older ones, most of them have listened to Mr. Xia's lectures. As long as you have listened to the lectures, you are a student, and as a disciple of Mr. Xia, your seniority is higher than ours, so you have to be our little uncle. Su Zian was stunned. Zhang Wushuang showed a lack of interest at the moment, waved his hand and said, okay, you go to sign up. Xiao Yuan, Su Zian will be handed over to you, and I will bring him to get acquainted with us later. I have to leave first. Su Zian, you don't have a mentor in Star Wars, right? Zhang Wushuang stared at Su Zian and asked. Seeing Su Zian shaking his head, Zhang Wushuang was immediately satisfied, nodded, and said, that's okay. I will be your mentor in Star Wars from now on. Is there any problem? It seems that he feels that he is too strong, afraid of arousing Su Zian's rebellious thoughts. Immediately and busy, he added, in terms of Star Wars, I will definitely be your mentor. Did you see the deep spaceship outside? Mine. I am the real captain of the deep spaceship, with the strength of the Emperor of War. I, Zhang Wushuang, don't care about Star Wars or personal battles. If I say that I am the second among the teachers in the school, who would dare to say that I am the first? You worship me as your mentor, you will definitely not suffer. In addition, I will also carefully teach you the knowledge and experience of Star Wars and personal warfare. I know that your talents in Star Wars and personal war are extremely high, but that's only for scout ships and warrior class. You don't necessarily understand the higher level fighting methods. Su Zian shook his head helplessly. Star Wars mentor, of course he is fine. What's more, Zhang Wushuang looks really awesome. At least the 3 teachers from the evolution department are more timid in front of Zhang Wushuang. He is also a real captain of a deep space ship, so there is no problem for him to learn from his teacher. After all, other students would not be able to worship the teacher if they wanted to. No longer thinking about it, he cupped his fists and bowed and shouted, Disciple Su Zian, pay homage to master. Tutor is just a modernized title for master, or a title in school. In fact, Su Zian prefers to call him master. But it doesn't matter whether it's a mentor or a master, it's the same. You can yell as much as you want, it doesn't matter. Zhang Wushuang was completely satisfied now. He patted Su Zian on the shoulder and smiled so hard that his lips reached to his ears. Okay. You first follow your senior sister to get familiar with this place. Also receive what is yours. When we are free later, let's have a good chat. You go ahead now. Su Zian nodded. Zhang Wushuang walked away with a smile. The 3 old men shook their heads regretfully and soon left happily. although it was a bit regretful not to accept Zian as a disciple. But Zian also belongs to their evolution division. Any achievements you get in the future will also be a part of their evolution. Good thing, good thing. I won't disturb him today, so as not to frighten him and scare him away. If you want to understand, it will take a lot of time in the future. Several people left one after another. Only Zian and the senior sister, who hadn't been paying attention, were left. At this time, he looked towards the senior sister, who happened to be looking at Zian curiously. 0. Ask for flowers. Seeing what Zian looked like, she was so frightened that she lowered her head, her little face. Unconsciously, she turned slightly red. Zian was stunned for a while. He looked carefully just now. This senior sister turns out to be a bunny girl. The pair of bunny ears are the most obvious symbol. White ears, but there is a little pink and tender inside the ears, and the pair of rabbit ears hang down naturally, very beautiful. And this senior seems to be extremely good looking. Although it was a hasty gesture, it was enough to surprise Zian. And those big eyes with red pupils, simple, shy, and timid. At this moment, he was secretly watching Zian. Zian smiled and said, "Sister, are we sure we want to stand like this?" The rabbit-human senior sister came back to her senses, hurriedly said in a flustered and shy way, No. My name is Zian, yes, I belong to the rabbit man race. Student Zian, I will sign up for you now, just wait. After speaking, he trotted over to get some optical brain and other things, and started to operate it for Zian. After working hard, Zian is not as shy and timid anymore. Those eyes with big red pupils stared at the light brain and processed it seriously. The pair of drooping rabbit ears moved from time to time, which made Zian really want to touch it. However, relying on strong self-control to control this evil idea. Student Zian, your treatment is so high. Zian was staring at the tail of the white bird, and was studying whether she had a rabbit tail or not, when the voice of the white bird hurriedly made him look away. In fact, he is really not that, he is really just pure curiosity. Hearing this, he smiled and said, "Well, this is the treatment given by the school." However, Zian was so envious that the pair's pupils turned even redder. Wow. This is too outrageous. A full 5,000 points. Private floating island, and things like windwalking armor. Talking and talking, she suddenly thought of Zian, the top scholar in the country, and his status as a godsend at the top level along the way, and she became increasingly unable to continue talking. Alright. It's not that the school's treatment for Zian was too high. Zian's talent is really amazing. Don't give such high treatment. I'm really afraid of being snatched away. Moreover, Zian's talent is worthy enough. Classmate Zian, this is a three-dimensional view of our accommodation star. You can choose from these houses and floating islands. The red ones are already inhabited, and you can choose the green ones. Okay, you come and choose your residence. Zian is born in Tau soil, accommodation star. There are hundreds of large and small floating islands. It looks like a lot, but it is all over the entire planet. There are hundreds of them, and it is particularly sparse, and it may be possible to see one from a long distance. If Zian chooses, he must choose floating island. First of all, the floating island is quiet enough. Zian is a person who likes to be quiet. I like to study quietly by myself, practice quietly by myself, and study the evolution of starships by myself. Floating island is his best choice. Choose and choose. Zian finally chose a small and medium-sized floating island with a diameter of about 10,000 meters, or 10 kilometers. Too small will feel a little insufficient. In addition to the living area and the landing pad, Zian also plans to build an evolution factory on it. What's more, when your own starship evolves to a higher level in the future, such as cruisers, battleships, and the like, it can be several kilometers at every turn, and it must be large enough. 10 kilometers, almost just right. Zian didn't like it too much. If it is too big, it will look empty. This floating island can be renamed at will. Needless to say, just change the name to Bright Island. 337 is simple and straightforward. After entering the name, enter and select Zian's personal information. Since then, this dazzling island belongs to Zian's private island. It is even possible to activate the energy shield of the floating island, and no one can enter without Zian's permission. You can even install things like defensive guns. Anyone who enters your territory will be shot. But in fact, this is allowed by the Federation, private territory, sacred and inviolable. You were shot, and you deserved it. Even many private residences and private islands in the school will turn on energy shields and defensive artillery arrays all year round. This is supported and even encouraged by the school. Because in this way, it can also prevent some villains, such as sneak attacks, by human traders. Although the possibility of human traders daring to come to this accommodation star is almost zero. There are several deep spaceships in the lodging star alone. Why are traders so bold? This is not how they seek death. The private floating island is selected. Then there are the rest of the rewards. Since Zian successfully became a first-grade evolutionist of the Evolutionary Association, the addition of the 2 monster-level talents of the National College Entrance Examination Champion and first-rank Evolutionary Master, Shenzhou Academy can be said to have shown great sincerity. Originally 2,000 points, directly increased to 5,000 points. The floating island is used as a dormitory, and a teacher is randomly selected as his tutor, including the principal. You know, ordinary students don't have the right to choose a tutor. Only go to class when the teacher is in class. A mentor is a mentor. Teacher, it's a teacher. Of course, if that teacher takes a fancy to you and wants to be your mentor, then that's fine. Then choose 3 subjects for free without paying any points. A set of Cosmos Technology Group Popular Series space armor. And any 3 pieces of entry-level personal equipment. These conditions have not changed. But give Zian 3 extra cruiser berms. What is the number of cruiser escorts? For example, Zian now wants to go out and hunt pirates. But if your own strength is low, then you can use this kind of cruiser to protect the road a few times. Number of times the cruiser protects the road. You can choose any cruiser captain in the school, not limited to teachers and students, to protect the road for you. Redeem points, 3,000 points. Yes. This is the meaning of the number of cruiser escorts. Zian uses it once, such as choosing Haitang to protect himself. Then Zian can hunt the pirates alone. Can't beat it? Very simple. Call Haitang to help him fight, cripple him and hit him with a last hit. To put it more simply, it is said to be the number of times of protecting the road. Rather, wholesale purchase evolution value. And a full 3,000 points is enough to make all the students sigh. Anyway, according to what Zian learned from Haitang, since the establishment of Shenzhou University, no matter what level of protection times, the exchange students are pitifully few. No one would spend thousands of points to redeem the Tao Protector. You can imagine how precious the 3 cruiser patrols promised to Zian by the school this time are. Of course, in order to prevent the team leader from pulling seedlings, the school will also curb this kind of behavior. No one can exchange more than 3 times, no matter what level. Zian used up all 3 berths. It will be useless in the future. But Zian didn't care at all. Because of his starship, just evolved to a frigate. He was basically not worried about being killed. At least it won't be killed so easily. Scout ship. It is indeed too weak. After all, it is only the entry level among all levels of starships. It's impossible to count on how strong it can be. Zian can handle 1 frigate, but what about 2? Wait until he evolves into a frigate. Then the result is different. So, the number of berms these 3 times. For him at this stage, it is undoubtedly the most important. In the future, he would not even give it to him. Because that will make him dependent, which will greatly affect his growth. This is absolutely unacceptable. Now, that was definitely needed, desperately needed. Student Su Zian, let me take you to your bright spot first. Bai Xiaoniao said with a blushing pretty face. Those big eyes with red pupils are flickering, and a pair of pink and tender rabbit ears are always moving, it seems. It's so cute that my heart almost melts. Alright. Su Zian resisted the idea of grabbing Bai Xiaoyuan's 2 rabbit ears and playing with them in his hands, nodded, and walked outside together. And when he came to the landing pad, Su Zian was suddenly very thankful for his calmness. The pink starship with a red-eyed white bunny sprayed on it, the 400-meter-long starship made Su Zian sweat profusely on his forehead. Can only say, is it worthy of being the #1 Shenzhou Academy in Star Wars? Even Bai Xiaoniao, who looks so timid and shy, her starship is an assault ship. This is really outrageous. After a moment of astonishment, I couldn't help asking, Sister Bai, can you tell me what grade you are in? Bai Xiaoyuan blinked her big eyes and replied crisply, I am in the 1st semester of the 3rd grade. There are a total of 10 years in Shenzhou Academy, 2 years and 1 semester, a total of 5 semesters, that is, 5 grades. The 1st semester of the 3rd grade. That is to say, Bai Xiaoyuan has been in Shenzhou Academy for 5 years. Su Zian breathed a sigh of relief. Fine. Not too outrageous. Otherwise, the pressure will be too great. 5 years. He is confident that he can evolve the brilliant to a higher level. Student Su Zian, I suggest that if you stay in school for a long time, it is more convenient to buy a Star Queen. Bai Xiaoyuan said, but today we will drive the starship there. After all, your starship will stop there too, okay, got it. Su Zian nodded. Xingshua, I went to buy one later. I don't buy expensive ones, anyway, it's just for transportation, not for enjoyment. Of course, the main reason is that he is really poor now. At that moment, the two of them boarded the starship one after another and flew in the direction of Bright Island. Bright Island is located in the subtropical region of the accommodation star. Yes. Lodging star has the most complete ecological environment. Tropical, temperate, Arctic, etc. The floating island with a diameter of 10 kilometers is definitely not small, and it is shocking to look at it quietly floating there. And directly below the resplendent island, there is a blue ocean. Are there all kinds of strange fish jumping up on the bottom of the sea, and from time to time, creatures like whales spray out fountains and splash rainbows. In the sky, there are flocks of birds, and the trees on the bright island are full of shade, and thousands of flowers are blooming, which can be called the fragrance of birds and flowers. There are even unknown little beasts bouncing around leisurely, watching them make people feel inexplicably peaceful. It is said that this bright island used to be the residence of a school teacher. But unfortunately, in a battle with the Inhumans, the teacher got all the enemy sets, and was killed by the enemy's deep space ship and 5 battleships. The teacher was a battleship captain. It is said that before he died with an enemy battleship, which can be described as heroic. Therefore, there are also some buildings on this bright island. Judging from these buildings, the teacher should be a person who can enjoy life. A sci-fi style 2-story villa with a large area was built by the lake. Su Zian fell in love with this lakeside villa immediately. Then there are also buildings that look like warehouses. Store some personal belongings or personal captures from the battlefield. In addition, there is only a large parking pad, and that area is enough to park 2 or 3 deep space ships. Su Zian will choose a place to build an evolution factory in the future. In the future, the brilliant will evolve a starship for others. Made it in our own factory. Bai Xiaoyuan took Su Zian into the island, and the island's intelligent optical brain confirmed Su Zian's identity, and at this moment was completely bound to him. After the intelligent optical brain is completely bound to Su Zian, it will only listen to Su Zian's orders. Even the school can't control the intelligent optical brain here, which protects the privacy and safety of teachers and students to the greatest extent. In today's era, the degree of personal privacy protection is extremely high, so don't worry about it. Because the teacher died, all his belongings were sent to his family members. Bai Xiaoyuan explained, there are only a few houses on this island, and there is also a self-contained energy shield. If you want to build your own buildings, or build defensive artillery arrays. But that's up to you to spend the points yourself. Zian asked in surprise, you can't even spend money to build these things? Bai Xiaoyuan shook her head, and those two rabbit ears flicked along, looking so cute that she exploded. Impossible, everything needs to spend points. Things you personally buy don't count, though. But if you want to build a building within the scope of the academy, you must use points, not universe coins. Zian nodded. It seems that the school is using the points to the extreme, thereby motivating students to have to earn points. And if you want to earn points, you can only do Renluo. If you are afraid that doing the task will be dangerous, you can only do everything possible to improve yourself. It is tantamount to forcing students not to behave badly. No wonder the students of Shenzhou Academy are the first in combat effectiveness. Under such a high-pressure situation, I am afraid that even a pig can improve a lot, right? Not to mention those who can enter the Shenzhou Academy, which one is not the pride of heaven. But you don't have to worry. You have exactly 5,000 points. Even more points than some lecturers. No, some teachers may not have as many points as you, because they also use a lot. Bai Xiaoyuan's big eyes were full of envy. It is enough to see that these 5,000 points are indeed not a small amount. It seems to be linked to money, but in fact, in Shenzhou Academy, 5,000 points are worth more than 50 million yuan. Because points are too hard to get. By the way, and this, for you. Bai Xiaoyuan handed over an optical brain watch with her small hand. This is a military-grade optical brain watch uniformly issued by the school. Not only is the security level very high, but the performance is also extremely outstanding. In addition, you can only enter some of the school's websites through this optical brain watch. The optical brain watch outside can't get in. In addition, don't worry, this watch has the functions of ordinary optical brain watches, and it's even richer. Zian reached out to take it. It happened that his optical brain watch had been used for many years, and it was time to change it. Deng transferred the data from his optical brain watch and bound it to the school's optical brain watch. Sure enough, it comes with a lot of different website entrances and some functions. For example, the emergency SOS function. This function is exclusive to the students of Shenzhou University. Just use SOS. Then no matter where the teachers and students of Shenzhou Academy are, they can receive Zian's distress signal immediately. Then they will rush to the rescue as soon as possible. And the synchronization will also be sent to the Federation and the nearest federal army for help. Those sites are easy. Mainly the course network, redeemed with points, sites for redeeming items, websites for posting and receiving tasks, etc. Anyway, everything needs points. But with points, you can do almost anything. Points are everything. Zian finally realized at this moment the weight of these 5,000 points. No wonder even when Hai Tang mentioned the 5,000 points, she looked at her with envy. It's not that she still lacks these 5,000 points, it's that she never got so many points at once. Still just enrolled. What a crazy start. Bai Xiaoyuan then talked about some related matters. After basically explaining to Zian, he also left immediately. Zian did not hold back. He's more interested now. It is the transformation of your own private island, Bright Island. This island is completely your own, although it is still far away from my dream to have a planet of my own. But now it is just getting started, and it has a private island. Can the private planet be far behind? Just right. Just take the Bright Island to practice. After buying a private planet in the future. At that time, when it is reformed, you will know where to start the best. First. Let's take a closer look at the situation of this two-story villa with a large area. Take a closer look. Zian was even more satisfied. The upper and lower floors are very spacious. The furniture, decoration, and furnishings are all in that simple style. There is no such old-fashioned thing as resplendent and magnificent. Moreover, the entire house has a self-cleaning function. Dust, water stains, oil stains, etc. are automatically cleaned away. The first floor is the living room, kitchen, dining room, bathroom, and utility room. On the second floor, there is only one bedroom. No. It should be said that the entire second floor, more than 500 square meters, are all bedrooms. Can you imagine a bedroom of more than 500 square meters? Outside the window is the oversized balcony. From here, you can have a panoramic view of the lakes and mountain peaks. When you have free time, you can also go fishing at the door. Even in this era, fishermen are still alive and well. I still use the most traditional hand pole or lure pole to fish. Are the anglers fishing for fish? No. What I'm fishing for is feelings, and that poetic and freehand feeling. The entire second floor. The top is still composite glass. And it's one-sided, so you don't have to worry about privacy issues. Lying on the bed, you can see 3 planets very close to each other from the huge glass, as well as 2 suns, one far, one near, one red and one yellow, reflecting each other. There are even more stars and galaxies filling the sky. This beauty that belongs to the universe cannot be felt so clearly on Earth. Look around. Zian was extremely satisfied. Basically, you don't need to buy anything, just bring your bags and move in. At most, the sheets, quilt covers, and personal items are replaced, and that's it. But these can all be done later. Now, Zian is more concerned about the construction of the evolution factory and the transformation of the entire brilliant island. Defense. It is a must. He felt deeply the madness of human traitors during the special recruitment exam. I don't want to do it again. Even if this is the accommodation star of Shenzhou University, who knows? But this transformation must come slowly. Because Zian didn't want to spend too many points on these things in the early stage. It is necessary to keep the energy shield on at all times. For defensive artillery, you can take your time, not urgent. Thinking of this, I immediately used my optical brain watch to activate the energy shield of the entire Paishuan Island. Immediately, a light blue round sphere surrounded the entire brilliant island. The level of this energy shield is not low, and it will have no problem blocking a burst of cruiser bombardment. Energy shield turned on. Zian started browsing the website on the optical brain watch. The first must be the transformation of the evolution factory. The transformation of the evolutionary factory can be left to the students of the research department. The research department is not only engaged in research, but also includes engineering and construction. Click in. There are even complete design drawings of the evolutionary factory. There are big ones and small ones, with different appearances and functions. The prices are also different. Originally, Zian planned to build a slightly larger evolution factory, but when he saw the price, forget it. Let's just build a small factory honestly. The small factory is actually not small anymore, it is enough for an assault ship to evolve in it, and it is currently enough for Zian to use. The construction, including the supporting facilities inside, requires a total of 1,900 points. This is definitely not a small number. But Zian believes that the money is well spent. Because sooner or later, he will earn it back from these classmates. What does he really think he is doing by building an evolution factory? It's one thing to evolve yourself. Isn't it mainly for the future starship evolution of the students? Those points are coming in a hurry. This investment is worth it now. As for using the school, you have to rent it, and it is far less convenient than owning an evolution factory. After spending 1,900 points, Zian started browsing resources and supplies websites. There are a lot of good things in here. But it just opened, suddenly. Zian's eyes were fixed. Treasures of heaven, materials, and earth, this subpage instantly attracted his attention. Treasures from heaven and earth. Zian has long wanted to try Tian Kai Dibao. It's a pity that he is too poor. Now the treasures of heaven and earth are right in front of me, and I have a full 5,000 points. Not redeeming it is a bit unjustifiable. Without thinking, just click on it. Soon. There are rows of natural materials and earthly treasures, and different types of natural materials and earthly treasures. Zian was dazzled and drooled. Let's take another look at the price. Bye. Treasures of heaven and earth. Mainly divided into two categories. One type is for human use. One category is for starships. The treasures used in starships are mainly precious and rare metals and some materials. However, these brilliant numbers are currently far from being used and will not be considered. It is a treasure of heaven and earth for human use. Mainly the kind that improves biological energy and tempers the strength of the physical body. Zian also directly passes the one that increases bioenergy. Systematic wealth value conversion in, he doesn't need that at all. Okay. Wait a minute, I haven't looked at the school's points yet. Does the system recognize the increased wealth value? Zian said that he always felt like he had forgotten something. Now suddenly remembered, open the system to check. Name, Zian. Realm, 6th grade warrior. Starship, brilliant, red excellence. Bioenergy, 450. Evolution value, 190. Wealth value, 6750. Seeing the 6750 behind the wealth value, Zian suddenly became happy. Admit. Now that you admit it, there's no problem, and it's still a redemption method of 1 point, which is equivalent to 1 wealth value. Not bad, not a loss anyway. It's better than the system not recognizing it. And he has wealth value that can be directly converted into bioenergy, which is more awesome than any natural and earthly treasure. So, the only thing he needs to buy now is the kind of heavenly materials and earthly treasures that can temper and strengthen his physique. In fact, this has always been a shortcoming of Zian. Because he doesn't have a lot of time to practice, his physique is not worse than others, but it is definitely not better than anyone else. The reason why he was able to achieve such high results in individual battles. It's nothing more than an instinctive way of killing that comes from fighting. The treasures of heaven and earth can be used to temper the body, which can make its internal organs, cells, bones, meat, etc. all undergo transformation. By then, the ability to withstand attacks and survive will be much stronger than now. Even when the wealth value is converted into bioenergy, if the physical fitness is stronger, more bioenergy can be converted at one time. Bye. Zian was quite restrained. But even so, it also cost a full 700 points. I quickly stopped this extravagant spending and bought more. My 5,000 points were not enough. After exiting the Tian Kai Dibao interface, Zian also saw a gift package flashing. Click in and take a look, but you can buy a set of popular series space armor from Universe Technology Company for free, as well as 3 entry-level equipment sets. Popular series of space armor. Divided into light and ultralight, Qin Fuyue's model is lightweight. There is actually not much difference in appearance, except that the light ones are a bit thicker and heavier than the ultralight ones. The styles are the same. Zian thought about it and finally decided to choose the ultralight one. Although the ultralight space armor has a slightly lower defense than the light one, but it won't be much different. Secondly, Zian belongs to that kind of agile combatant. Almost all of them are deadly with their swords. They can kill the opponent with 1 blow, but never with a second blow, there is no doubt about that. The most flexible ultralight space armor is the most suitable for you. Moreover, the ultralight space armor only has slightly lower defense power. Other functions are not bad at all. Anti-radiation, anti-corrosion, anti-toxic gas, anti-high pressure, etc. In addition, the oxygen self-sustaining system is equipped with ultra-concentrated compressed oxygen, which is enough to sustain breathing for half a month. Therefore, the price will not be cheaper than the light one at all, and the market price is also 5.9 million yuan. Purchase. Then there's the 3-piece starter set of personal equipment. Main weapon, secondary weapon, medical gun. This is a must-have 3-piece set for bio-warriors. What is interesting is, the 3-piece set Zian purchased before was never used once. But it's also normal. This is the theme song of Starship War, and the proportion of personal battles is really not high. But if there is something better, Zian will naturally not refuse it. The main weapon is the knife. Unlike many students who choose something like a rifle, they then choose a knife as a secondary weapon. He's the other way around. The main weapon is a knife, and the secondary weapon is a gun. It's time to say it or not. Shenzhou University is quite impressive. The 3-piece set given away are all the best at this level currently on the market. No matter how high the level is, it is completely useless. For example, the main and secondary weapons are all products of the interstellar weapon group. The interstellar weapon group is one of the 12 top forces in the universe. The kind that is as famous as the mechanical empire. The interstellar weapons group mainly produces various types of personal weapons, as well as base defense weapons. He will also dabble in the manufacture of weapons on starships. And it's not weak at all. The high-end weapons used on some starships even surpass those of the mechanical empire and the universe technology group. After all, it is one of the 12 top forces in the universe, so it can't be any different. As for their company's personal weapons, they are definitely the second best, not the first. The Tomorrow God of War series is the highest-end version of their company's individual weapon series that can be used by mid to low-level warriors. A Lei Jin knife, a photon pistol. It's all God of Tomorrow series. After the main and secondary weapons, the medical gun is equally important. The medical gun is even worse. A product from the universe's #1 pharmaceutical group. The first pharmaceutical group in the universe. That is one of the 7 overlord forces in the universe. As famous as Universe Technology Group, its self-rescuer medical gun can be loaded with 3 medical tubes for treatment. And the treatment has an increase, and it can also automatically detect the injury and confirm the treatment amount. There are many types of medical tubes, such as anti-inflammatory, cleaning, healing, dredging, hematopoiesis, detoxification, and so on. If you can only install 3 anti-inflammatory medical tubes, cleaning medical tubes, and healing medical tubes are definitely preferred. Shopping completed. There are only a few last things left to choose from. There is also one more thing to buy. Star Shuttle. Zian made a decision on the 3 free courses offered by the school without even thinking about it. Because there are too many courses. For example, there are hundreds of courses in one Star Wars course. Can you believe it? Such as Star Wars evasion skills, for example, Star Wars prediction skills, for example, Star Wars anti-sneak attack techniques, etc., etc. There are 3 free courses, all in the Star Wars field. Zian is actually very curious. He really wants to see the Star Wars Department of China University. Is it really as awesome as the legend says? And whether I can really learn enough useful knowledge from it. The courses have also been selected. All that remains is to purchase the Star Shuttle at the end. By Star Shuttle. It can be purchased directly from outside. The school will not ban this kind of thing. Of course, the school can also buy it, but Zian is crazy to buy it with points. The Star Shuttle thing is not expensive. The so-called Star Shuttle. In fact, it is equivalent to a car in the 21st century. They look very similar. It's just that the Star Shuttle can fly in the star system for a short time. The advantage of the Star Shuttle is that it is small, flexible, and lightweight. For example, if you are going shopping, it will be very convenient to drive the Star Shuttle. To drive a starship, you still have to go to the landing pad, and you have to walk over some places. Xinghua is different, it is the size of a car, and it can go wherever you want. Open the online shopping platform on the optical brain watch, start picking. Star Shuttle also has its good and bad aspects. And there are quite a few scenarios where it's used. There are many more star shuttles than starships and spaceships. After all, Xinghua is the real travel tool for ordinary people. Zian has no special requirements for Xinghua, mainly for transportation. Choose and choose. An Audi Star Shuttle, Zian looked quite satisfied. 89, that's right. Audi. It's the Audi of the 21st century. The one with 4 circles. The development of the Earth has always been relatively smooth. Later, after entering the interstellar era, it merged with the cosmic human race very smoothly, and became one of them. Good money, good money. Even if there have been wars, territorial grabs, and so on. But it was not a devastating blow. Therefore, many enterprises and groups from hundreds of thousands of years ago have survived. Audi is one of them. Today's Audi produces spaceships and shuttles. The price is cheap and affordable. But it is no longer the mid to high-end brand that was hundreds of thousands of years ago. In the age of the universe, because there are too many brands that are better than Audi, I don't know how many. Audi has now become one of the low-end brands. It is also sold in the Earth Federation, outside the Earth Federation. But no one buys Audi products. Zian looked around and selected Audi Star Shuttle. Mainly because it's cheap. And relative to this price, the performance is not bad. The price is 39,900. That's 40,000 yuan. It is equipped with an ultra-miniature nuclear fusion light-speed engine. It can fly at the speed of light for up to 3 hours, and 3 hours of light-speed flight. It is enough to reach any corner of a star system of the size of the Shenzhou star system. As for why it's so cheap, the cheapest spaceship is no more than 100,000 yuan. What? How much more expensive do you want? Of course, those high-end brand Star Shuttle are another matter. Say nothing more. Purchase. The things Zian bought were delivered one by unmanned courier boxes. Most things are sent directly from the school's logistics star. A small amount of things came from that ordinary planet. As for which planet sent it, Zian didn't have the time to pay attention to it. He also bought more than Audi Xinghua from online shopping platforms. There are also some personal items. And clothes and so on. A total of less than 50,000 yuan was spent. In fact, in this era, the cost of living is really low. The word famine, they have completely faded out of the minds of the cosmic humans. At the same time, the small evolution factory that Zian ordered for 1,900 points. The seniors and sisters of the research department also sent over the modules one by one. They drove the cargo spaceship to deliver the goods, and the spaceship was parked on the landing pad. Several seniors from the research department came down and looked at Zian curiously. The envy in his eyes was undisguised. Student Zian, you are indeed the #1 scholar in the country. You just entered school today, right? You actually lived on a floating island and built a private evolution factory. TSK, I'm so envious. A thin, nerdy-looking young senior said with envy until his eyes turned green. The rest of the seniors nodded frantically. The name Zian. It can be said that there is no student in the entire Shenzhou Academy who has never heard of it. The national champion of the unprecedented 213 ancients. A rank 1 evolutionist of the Evolutionists Association. This title. Moving out of any of them is enough to move the name of Shenzhou Academy, okay? No, it should be said to be the famous Chinese star system. Zian may not know. When the news that he confirmed joining the Shenzhou Academy came back, the ordinary people in the Shenzhou star system became more and more excited every day. Because of those national champions in the past. One counts as one. No one came to Shenzhou Academy. It's not because the Shenzhou Academy is bad or anything. Seriously. Is Shenzhou Academy really bad? ranked 10th in the top 10. That's only the 10th overall strength. In the interstellar era, isn't it about the strength of Star Wars? And Shenzhou Academy, Star Wars #1. So it's not that the Shenzhou Academy is poor, the reason why many people don't come without him. Fear death. Because of Shenzhou Academy. The death rate is also the well-deserved first of all schools. There are many people who bind twice and bind 3 times. Who dares to come? Wouldn't it be safe to evolve in the other top 10 with peace of mind? Therefore, for the arrival of Zian. The most sensational and exciting must be the people of the Shenzhou star system. Zian smiled and said, I built a private evolution factory, the main purpose is to evolve starships for my classmates. Of course, it's limited to the reconnaissance ship class, at least for now. Several people just smiled. Although they recognized Zian's talent. But let them take the starship to Zian for evolution, that is something that 10,000 dare not. Who knows what it will evolve into? Seeing their expressions, Zian also had a blank expression on his face. He believes that after all, someone will find himself to evolve. At that time, the evolution is successful, and the quality of the evolution is still so good. I am afraid that countless people took the initiative to find themselves to evolve. That time. I don't even have time for myself. Say no more. Several people began to assemble the evolution factory. Just over an hour. A small evolutionary factory rises from the ground. For convenience, Zian built the factory next to the villa. Anyway, the appearance looks good, and it will not affect the overall appearance. After the payment of 1900 points, the seniors and sisters who earned a lot of points slipped away with smiles on their faces. These points. They earn at least 100 points each. For them, who are still just reconnaissance ships, it's already a pretty impressive number. They leave. Zian began to count and pack his things. Pack up and lay out all the personal supplies, clothes, and bed sheets you bought. Zian first went to take a bath comfortably. Then I changed into a new set of clothes. Then wear this new set of popular series ultralight space armor on your body. When wearing space armor, you definitely don't need to wear it yourself. Especially this level of armor. In non-wearing state, it automatically stands in place. Then the mechanical metal behind it opens automatically. The man stood facing the back of the mecha. The mecha on the back closed automatically. Includes helmet. The helmet's glass visor retracts and releases automatically. This saves you the trouble of taking off your helmet. Just put it on. Zian felt as if he was wearing something or not. That kind of lightweight type is really not comparable to the armor I wore before. Zian also feels that this set of armor, which sells for 5.9 million yuan, is really not expensive. Very satisfied. Then he picked up the Thunder Gold knife and the photon pistol. There is nothing interesting about these two things. Lei Jin Dao is a Tang Dao style. Zian likes this kind of slender knife, which is more flexible. This high-power photon pistol is quite powerful, but because it is a high-power model, its ammunition capacity is very small. A photon rechargeable battery can only be used after 10 rounds. Basically, it is used as a last resort to save your life. Space armor is equipped with places to hang weapons. Put the Thunder Gold sword on your back, with the handle on your right shoulder, which is a convenient position for drawing the sword with your right hand. Pistol. It hung conveniently on the outside of the right thigh. At last. It's the final medical gun in the 3-piece set. The med gun is about the same size as a photon pistol. Using different medical tubes, the medical liquid in the medical tube will be broken down into particle rays by the medical gun. Finally, as soon as the light shines on the injured area, the light can automatically treat it. In the medical gun, all 3 drug tubes were installed. After a quick glance, they were all in full condition and there were no installation errors. Then hang it to the outside of the left thigh. Done. Since then, Zian set definitely among the best in its class. He is no longer the young man wearing tattered armor, pretending to be indifferent and stumbling around under the strange eyes of everyone, shaking his head and smiling slightly. In the past, don't think about what he did. Everything. Look ahead. He lifted his optical watch and looked at the time. In 1 hour, it will be the time agreed upon with Master. Master said this when I first became a disciple. Waiting for when will he become a first-level evolution master, and when will he officially accept himself as his disciple? It's a pity that Master is too busy. It has been put on hold. Now I finally have time. It is said that it has broken through a key technology or something, but Zian doesn't understand it anyway. In short, today is the day when he officially becomes a disciple of Xiaodong Lu. Starting today. Zian. He will also become Xiaodong Liu's true disciple. Thinking about it, I am actually a little excited inside. Another hour. Alright. Just put on a new virtual metaverse neuron access device that I bought today. Just a thing the size of a fingernail. Go to the sofa again, put something against your temple, and close your eyes. Next second. When Zian opened his eyes again. Already appeared in the virtual metaverse. Just came in, master and apprentice of Song Yu and Chen Shanchuan, Xiong'an, and 2 other branch presidents. They all sent congratulatory messages to Zian immediately. Mr. Xia accepted a disciple. How could they not know about such a big thing? Mr. Xia accepted a disciple. That is definitely a major event in the evolutionist circle, and it should not be taken lightly. Not only are they here today, and Zian's senior brothers and sisters, there are also a large number of famous evolution masters. Not even evolutionists, just big shots and strong men from all walks of life who were invited or came by themselves. Accepting a disciple today. It will be very lively. The virtual metaverse is extremely real. There is not even much difference from reality, it is equivalent to a second world. Except for pain and that. This is forbidden. But if it is not prohibited, then this is a real world. Where Zian is now. Is a welfare cabin, inside. No way. The virtual metaverse is not a charity world, it asks for money. I want to live well, eat well, and play well here. Alright, you just need to pay. And in it, the real currency of the universe coin is used. Even the daily universe coin circulation in the virtual metaverse is not much less than that in the real world. It can be seen that the virtual metaverse is booming. Get out of the welfare hut. It is said to be a welfare hut, but it is actually a love cave. It's just a nice name. Zian doesn't care about these things in reality, let alone in the virtual world. Let him recharge to buy a house in the virtual world to enjoy. Only when he is very rich will he consider it. What a fool to do this now. With that money, wouldn't it be nice to buy some better fuel for the starship, or better ammunition? In order to be close to reality. In the virtual world, each person is also equipped with an optical brain watch. He exhaled the optical brain watch, and clicked on Song Yu's message bar. What Song Yu sent was a positioning. Zian directly clicks on this location. Moment. The person disappeared in place. Can't blink. When the eyes regained their vision, they had already arrived in a bright lobby. Haha, look, isn't this our champion Su coming? Before Zian could see his surroundings clearly, Song Yu's hearty laughter rang in his ears. Immediately afterwards, an arm wrapped around Zian's shoulder, very intimate. Between men and men, they will not be bounced away. You don't even need to turn your head to know who is speaking. Sure enough, Song Yu hugged Zian's shoulder very affectionately, as if he had known an old friend for many years. I saw him give a thumbs up, his face full of admiration. To be honest, little brother. I, Song Yu, have never admired a few people in my life. Mr. Xia is one, senior brother Zhang is one, senior sister Qi is one, senior brother Wu is one, and junior sister Lu is one. Now there is one more Yu. I never imagined that when you have such outstanding talent as an evolutionist, Star Wars, personal wars, and culture are all so shocking. TSK, the full score is 3,600 points, you deserve to get 360B. It really deserves to be hailed by the media as an unprecedented national champion. It's amazing, it's really amazing. It doesn't matter whether this song you sincerely admires and praises him or not. At least, Zian couldn't see any hypocrisy from his face. That look, that tone of voice, that expression. Be as sincere as you can be. TX. Not to mention Zian, but also all the core disciples of Mr. Xia's line. Zian didn't know who those senior brothers and sisters Song Yu was talking about. But without thinking about it, I knew that there was a high probability that it was the other disciples of Mr. Xia. That is Zian's brothers and sisters. Really? A helpless voice came from the side. Xiaoyu, you are enough. You can praise the little junior brother, why did you bring us along? The voice is a very steady male voice. Turn around and look. There are many people standing behind him. These people are old and young and middle-aged. At this time, everyone's eyes were all focused on Zian. There is curiosity and exploration in the eyes. And the one who spoke just now was a rich middle-aged man. Very handsome, a handsome middle-aged guy. His eyes were piercing, and he had a gentle smile on his face. See Zian's view. He immediately smiled and introduced himself. Little brother, I am Zhang Yuanhai, your senior brother. Zian hurriedly saluted and shouted, hello, big brother. Zhang Yuanhai smiled gently, took the initiative to step forward to help Zian up, and said with a smile, this kind of thing is not popular among us brothers and sisters. Come on, let me introduce you to your other brothers and sisters. Zhang Yuanhai affectionately pulled Zian to the other two women and a man. They also looked at Zian, and they were very kind and friendly. No introduction from Zhang Yuanhai is needed. The tall woman was at least 1.8 meters tall, but one side of her bangs was very long, covering half of her face. She spoke first, I'm your second senior sister, Qi Jingyi. The tall, slender woman's voice was very dignified. And although she covered half of her cheeks, the other half of her cheeks was already bright enough. Coupled with her extremely tall figure, her temperament is very outstanding. Zian bowed again and called, second senior sister. Then came a relatively thin young man, he smiled at Zian, Wu Lu, your third senior brother. Third senior brother? At last, it was a girl, she seems to be about the same age as Zian. The appearance is also very beautiful. But Zian knows. Master seems to have confiscated disciples for a full 3,000 years. That is to say, this girl who looks as old as herself. In fact, it is more than 3,000 years old. The girl was very quiet, and said softly, I am your fourth senior sister, Lu Yuyu. Zian hurriedly called out, fourth senior sister. Big brother Zhang Yuanhai smiled and said, okay, now that the introduction is over, we will have a lot of time to get acquainted later. Master is over there, little brother, go and say hello to Master first. Senior brother Zhang Yuanhai pointed in a certain direction. Really? Master Xiaodong Lu is looking at Zian with a kind smile on his face. Congratulations and pride flashed in his eyes. I am gratified that these disciples have a harmonious relationship when they first met. I am proud that this disciple I recruited after a full 3,000 years not only did not disappoint him, but also made him look great. Those old friends, when they learned that they had accepted such an extremely talented disciple, they were all envious. The evolutionist will not talk about it all the way. 0. Asking for flowers. A first-rank evolutionary master who is less than 18 years old is definitely a first-class talent in the entire universe. What Xiaodong Lu didn't expect the most was that his disciple was such a monster in Star Wars. Special recruitment exam, take the lead. Later, an accident happened, but with the help of another assault ship, Timo killed the enemy. Even if the starship crashes, he is still not discouraged. After only 1.5 months, I stood up again. This time, with amazing talent and peerless talent, he suppressed all the proud sons of the emperor. Such a disciple. How not to make him proud? Such a heart. Such savvy. Such talent. He really felt that he was able to meet Zian by chance that time. It was really a fate bestowed by heaven. Here. Zian quickly walked towards the master. Before the person arrived, he respectfully shouted with disciple courtesy, "Disciple Zian, I have met master." Xia Donglu immediately laughed, stepped forward affectionately, and patted Zian on the shoulder. His eyes were full of satisfaction. There is no need to be too polite. "Zian, you really gave my master a big surprise. I thought it would take you 3 years to pass the assessment. I never thought I would pass the assessment in just a few months. It's actually very good." After being praised by his master, Zian laughed and said, "Actually, it's mainly because I like this job better. Actually, my talent is not as good as what you said, master. Since the first product, I have been studying the evolution of frigates and the improvement of the perfect quality of pink. It's a pity that it has been several months, and now I can only upgrade some unimportant small parts to the perfect pink quality. Slightly larger parts, the disciples can't do it, and they fail every time. As for the evolution of the frigate, the disciple has no clue at the moment. Master, you seem to be free now, and I still have a lot of questions to ask, As Zian spoke, he realized that something was wrong with the atmosphere. But he saw the master, and the old man with white hair and childlike faces behind him, slowly opened their mouths wide, and looked at him with astonished expressions. But Zian was a little confused. Did you say something wrong? It is true that only some small and unimportant parts can be evolved to pink perfect quality, and the success rate is quite low. This made Zian quite depressed during this time. Because it was not long before the system was bound, it was the first evolution simulation. One's own level has reached the first grade, and it is a first grade that can evolve the excellent quality of red. I have tried so many times now, but I still cannot successfully evolve the frigate, and even the evolution of parts has a high probability of failure. This made him feel that he might not really be a genius. So this is just a good time to ask the master to see if he has time in the future. Explain to him or something. Maybe you will be able to understand it. Only. What's wrong with them? Zian was at a loss. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.